Those of us who have worked on Course in Miracles before are aware how dense this information is, and we could talk for hours about just paragraphs. Today we're just going to be addressing Chapter 1, Section 2, Revelation, Time, and Miracles, and try to put it in a therapeutic context, because this is what I do for a living, work with people therapeutically, and take these really deep concepts and make it valuable for you. And I found these first two paragraphs in particular to be quite therapeutic, in the same order that the Buddha, over here in my Eightfold Path section, the first couple steps before we get to right action, there's a couple steps before: right view, right intention, right speech, those types of things. And so we'll show you the order ultimately of what miracles is and where revelation fits in and all of that. So in order to understand just the first two paragraphs, but really most of the book, we're going to start with a couple what I like to just call helpful concepts, which I got from other spiritual disciplines. A lot of this is from Kabbalah, some Bible concepts, and a little bit of the Tao. But the ideas are this: if you understand these types of concepts, and then when I read the first paragraph to you, hopefully it'll be a little bit more clear, okay? But the secret sauce to me, of Course in Miracles, is this: what's your intention? What's your desire? What's your motivation for trying to read this book? And there could be a lot of different reasons, including what we like to think of as physical miracles. Well, the book makes clear many times over, good luck shooting for a physical miracle on the level of the physical. Okay? That's not what it's for. That's not what miracles are about. Miracles a lot more inner. And can that lead to a physical miracle? It sure can, in many different ways. But we're going to have to do something, the ego. We have to get the ego out of the way and learn how to connect to the source in order to have that happen, in order to have physical miracles happen. Now, it's not just doing things like improving our physical health, but trying to unite the world in the spirit of unity. It's not going to come from human beings working on their egos and trying to love from that level. It can't be done like that. We have to do what the Tao says. Can we bring the Tao into our state of being? Or the Lord's Prayer, can I bring heaven to earth? And it has to be in that order, because otherwise the miracles are misguided and it won't work. So, what's the desire? What's the intention? Do you want what you want for the good of all? Do you want to learn this type of teaching for your benefit, but also others' benefit? Equally. And we'll get into equality in a minute. In order to do that, we have to embrace this concept. It's called equivalence of form in Kabbalah. The goal, in week one, we had heaven up here and then earth down here. I just drew it a little smaller. The equivalence of form is this: we come from this source, you could call it heaven if you want, home, it's love, and we're into this physical dimension now, okay? Souls have taken on bodies. A line from the next chapter says, it's a detour into fear. And we all took a detour into fear. We come from a place of love where there's no fear. We're now into a place where there's fear. And we want to try to get out of this place. We're stuck, we're trapped. And we have all these ego level desires and ideas about how to do that. This is what would fix things. And guess what? It doesn't work. What will fix things is being able to tap back into this place. And it's what equivalence of form is. Stop thinking like our individual egos. Why do I have my thoughts oriented towards Steve? It's because of who my parents were, my culture, where I was born, my race, my gender, all of those things. And so I have my thoughts, and that's called the ego. And you would have yours based upon your conditioning, where you were born and all your various labels. And so we think differently, don't we? But we all came from the source, the place where all things are one. We all came from that source. And the goal is to say, I want to meet you there, like Rumi says, out there beyond right doing and wrong doing. There's a field, I'll meet you there. So we have to truly want to meet there. That's how equivalence of form happens. Through proper desire, proper intention, or the Buddha teaches the right view, I need to see you as an extension of me, or Jesus' commandments, which we'll end with today, okay? So that's equivalence of form. It includes the science of entanglement, this first paragraph or two. The science of interconnectivity. None of us physically are connected. In fact, atoms don't touch, they just exchange energy, so people don't touch either. Human beings don't touch each other. But we energetically influence each other all the time. Because we're entangled energetically. So spiritually, we're all connected all the time. Physically, we're never connected at all. In fact, your own body's multiple trillion pieces of atoms, little vibrating loops of energy. And we don't see it like that. We think we're just one body. No, physicality doesn't touch, spirituality does. And that's entanglement. We're all connected all the time. Do I bring the Tao to earth, or do I just bring more ego and darkness to earth? Okay? Can I see the world through a type of vision that this book is trying to give us? Can I see the interconnectivity between everyone? Can I see the love that's expansive and all-encompassing and all-embracing? Okay? Can I include everything in my experience under the umbrella of love? Or am I always going to let fear sneak in there somewhere? Miracles tries to root through all of that. Okay? So we'll do this piece after I read. So here we are, just this one paragraph, maybe a couple lines from the second one. Revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. Now, revelation I've got depicted here, and again, just a way to think of it. Revelation is insight. It's the way the mind can think. Revelations can come to you through your mind. It will lead to your heart. But revelation, just think of it as an insight. And the moment you have that insight of, say, interconnectivity or the idea that we're all one, what happens in that moment? And if you get it for real, what happens to your doubt and fear? Like, oh, I see. It's all so clear now. People who use psychedelics have the same sort of experience because it's inducing some sort of revelation, of course, via chemicals. But to do this book the right way, to understand it the right way, a revelation is an aha moment. In that moment, goodbye fear and doubt, they're gone. But it's temporary because, we got a lot more work to do. It reflects the original form of communication between God and his creations. Heck, we're in that place right now. This place called heaven. We're not separate from God. We just think we are. And since we're down here in this place with these things called egos, which believe in separation, we've lost the connection. What do we want to do is to get up there, experience that in the Buddhist philosophy, it's samadhi, to be able to experience with clear mind what's going on here and have this equal compassion and equal love for all. That's the way God communicates. It's not how we humans communicate, right? We look at each other and we see all the differences. And then we compare and contrast. We're not seeing the uniformity of what love is. His creations, involving the extremely personal sense of creation, sometimes sought in physical relationships. See, we all want to feel that love, and what do? We immediately seek that in each other, right? We have this seed, I like to say, of spirit inside each one of us, and we try to manifest it physically. It's why we get addicted to try to loving each other. It's why we end up stalking even, or having human issues because we think we need love from the other person. We don't. We have it inside of ourselves. And once you know that, you can be complete, knowing full well that it's inside of you. The prophets don't give relationship advice, not romantic relationship advice, because they know, work on this, find the God inside yourself. And then if you're with someone that's doing that, and it doesn't mean just romantic, family members, friends, coworkers, whatever, then it'll work. Because now we're not in this power dynamic of, I need you to show me love. So we're trying to do it in the physical, but physical closeness cannot achieve it. It's not going to work physically. It can't be done. Not until we get past the detour into fear, back into spirit, will that ever work. Miracles, however, are genuinely interpersonal and result in true closeness to others. See, because we can be close to each other, though. We can find the type of love we're looking for in the physical form, but it has to be found through connecting to source first. It's this drawing down here, okay? If you bring the spirit into you, full love, agape level spirit into you through revelation, now in the form of miracles, we can then communicate with each other through miracles. It's what I have down here as the heart component. The interconnection that we have with each other, again, it has to be pure. I want to share the spirit, the light, the love. I don't want you to worship me, right? Or I wouldn't want you to even worship anyone else on earth. It's to understand that we all have the exact same seed inside of ourselves. And then true closeness can happen. Revelation unites you directly with God. Miracles unite you directly with your brother. Neither emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced there. Consciousness is the state that induces action, though it does not inspire it. What does this mean? As you develop awareness, down here with revelation of divine connection, I'm calling it a certain awareness or awakening quality. And that's just an experience of being. What does that feel like? Fairly divine, of course. What you do next from it is the action component. This is where miracles fit in. What are you going to do with this awakening quality, this revelation quality, this experience of divine connection? What are you going to do with it? You are free to believe what you choose, and what you do attests to what you believe. Meaning, are you going to, I'd like to say, you can't fool Mother Nature. Is it your goal and desire to have everyone heal? Or is it just for you and your friends? Do you want the whole world to come together in the spirit of unity? The only way that's going to work is for you to get up there into your spiritual connection, bring the divinity into you, and then spread it. That's the miracles. Behaviors now can become important because you have the right intention. Second step of Buddha's Eightfold Path. Your right intention is literally, again, Jesus' commandments. We'll end with that. Revelation is intensely personal and cannot be meaningfully translated. That is why any attempt to describe it in words is impossible. That's the first verse of the Tao Te Ching. It's impossible to describe it. It says the Tao that can be named is not the Tao. The only way you would know what this is to have some experience of it yourself. Well, what are you talking about? You can't fix the world on the level of the human being or whatever. Like, well, if you have an experience of the divine, then you have a bit of a clue about it. But how would you put that into words other than, yeah, I feel connected? I mean, that's about as good as you can get. But it's intensely personal. It's your unique experience. That's when it shows up for you. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce action. So what we have here is as you bring it into you, you then get this feeling state. And this is what I've been trying to implore to many different people, including myself. We always want to act from this state, this place of love, but not human love. The ego thinks it understands what other people need. Well, guess what? The ego is usually wrong about those things. Remember, ego, earth guide only. But God's mind, which is what miracles is all about, to experience and see the way the world God would see it, God's mind would know exactly what everyone else needs. And guess what everyone else needs? The same thing, to connect to their divinity. Rule number 1, again, Rumi says that. We're all here to do one thing. Every one of us, one thing. It's to connect to the divinity. So the revelation is your awareness. As you have that awareness and it comes into you, it's a feeling state. It's a feeling of divine connection. And it feels wonderful. Of course it does. But then you put it into play. Faith without works is dead. Miracles is the action that comes via divine inspiration. We're all acting, but are we acting from a place of divine inspiration? As miracles, and we'll go through it too, why forgiveness is so important. Including forgiveness is because nothing bad ever happened in a dreamlike state. It's all just a dream anyways. Oh, that's too big. Oh, the world's a crazy place. That's all true on the level of the dream. But we're not asking for more darkness in the dream. We're asking for more light to be brought into the dream. And to escape from this physical illusion of reality, get up there into the divine home, if you will, bring the spirit into earth, and then spread it. That's how it works. That's why Jesus said, you are the light of the world, okay? Not you're the darkness of the world. And if all we do is see darkness in each other, the problem's going to continue. But go find the light, see the light, bring it into you, and then miracles can happen. So here I have a drawing where someone is lit, this little blue dot, the conscious mind, if you will, the revelation. And of course, their heart can be filled as a result. Now, as Miracle says many times over, hearts and minds are connected. It's entangled. And so you're with another person because you're working on this sincerely, because you truly want other people, whether you're friends or enemies, doesn't matter. We have to see them all equally. If you do that, then you have the chance to vibrationally influence them. Okay? Because our minds are connected. This is sort of what's known as to be a fisher of men. Can you put that vibe out there and see whether or not they're going to bite? With that comes the miracle of the actual love that can be felt. Is it upon you to fix other people? No, it isn't. Can you influence other people? Yes, you can. It's just energy work, if you will. And that's where the miracle comes in. A lot of people might reject it, though. It's not your job. That's their job to eventually figure out. But if you're locked into that space, this place, the mind and the heart are in sync, then it's going to feel good. The next paragraph says this: revelation is unspeakable love. It's back to the Tao again. When you're connected to the divine love, you know it. And then, of course, what you want to do is share it. Well, miracles is love among equals. So important. You have a personal experience of unspeakable love, and you just know that it's true, and it's hard to explain. In fact, impossible. But then the miracles is when you have that type of love shared among equals. And that's because every being on earth has this exact same thing going on. Not many people are working on it, but if you're working on it, the bar rises, okay? Now, to those who much has been given, much is expected. And it's our jobs to stay connected to the divine. What happens when you fall out of that connection? You feel fatigued, you feel drained, right? Don't be blaming other. It's because it's our responsibility to do that, and then to share the love among equals, which is to then distribute the very energy that you went and found through your good hard effort of being open. That's it. Not through any behaviors. Which leads us to Jesus's one of two commandments, because again, he said the other is like it. He's got two commandments, but really they're the same. It's very yin-yang. And you'll see in just his two commandments, when he was asked about the most important commandments, he didn't say don't kill, don't cheat, don't steal, that kind of stuff. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love another as oneself. I didn't hear any behaviors in there. Well, love is an energy. It's a feeling. It's a force. And to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength is exactly the first point of Revelation. And that's committing to the fact that something is happening here and it's divine, and we're all being taught, and it's all in its order. Everything has its place, everything has its role, and nothing bad has ever happened. That's Course in Miracles stuff. If you like that, we're going to continue, okay? But to surrender to that, which is what Jesus had to do with his own crucifixion, for goodness sakes, and he had to be able to say, not my will be done, but thy will. There's a process there. Of course the ego is getting put in its place. And as the ego gets put in its place, like John says, I must decrease ego so he may increase. As you allow the ego to be put in its place, the Spirit shows up. That's loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Not just 2/3 or 1/10. It's all the time you're staying connected. And then what? Spread it to others. Love another as yourself. By going, okay, so this is awesome. I like this, but I also want other people to feel this. And so then you can't even get there if they don't work together. You want to start out with that. Because my goal would be to start with the idea that I want everyone to feel this. Everyone, enemies included. If that's the case, once you've brought it down, the Tao to earth, then you have the ability to breathe that into others. Of course, at that point, you're patient and you're kind and you're seeking diversity, but you're seeking the unity in diversity. And you recognize that I'm not going to let other people throw me off my game. I'm going to stay focused on this divine source. Now I'm constantly fueled. Now I have the ability to go out there and fight the war. And if you get that, go read the Bhagavad Gita, because the whole thing's about that exact point. Your ability to get in there, to find it yourself, and then go fight the war, he says. Pick up your sword and fight. Doesn't mean literal. And why Buddha's last words, strive for your own liberation with diligence. Stop trying to fix other people, fix yourself. And here's how you do it. It's what miracles is. You love all the way so you're divinely connected, then you bring it into the world, and that's where the miracles happen.